Great.
It is our pleasure to present the graduation certificates from the Teach First New Zealand Ako Mata Tupu program to the 2016 cohort.
Cohort 2016. Genevieve Vine.
Vaughn Spurtle.
Joe Willems.
Rosa Hughes Curry.
Jay Choi.
Taylor Hewson.
Sonia Clark.
Max Tarrant.
Hamish Craigie.
Sneha Srinivasan.
Brent Dunn.
Emma Howden.
Charles Looker.
Hannah Bitts.
Aiden Kylie.
That's my science teacher. William Chin.
Alexandra McIntyre.
And Sophie Jones.
Let's have one last round of applause for 2016 cohort.
Ngā mihi nui, kia koutou katoa, kia ora te whānau o Ako Mata Tupu. Warmest congratulations to C16. My name's Hannah Lees. I am part of the C13 alumni cohort, the inaugural cohort, so perhaps the winners, you could say that. I don't know where this competitive element has come from tonight, C18. It's really injected the room with quite the atmosphere. Thank you for that. So my buddy, Matt Dadley from C13, really should be here as well. He is the chairperson of the alumni team, but he's in Fiji. He is moving back to New Zealand in 2018, so we'll look forward to his involvement in person. But yeah, I'm here to officially welcome C16 to the Teach First NZ Aku Mata Tupu Alumni Network. So the thing is, it's a little redundant because these C16s are actually super precocious and they're already very involved in the alumni community. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. So Taylor Hewson, he's already accessed Teach for All funding and he's gone to India to do a research project on teacher leadership programs. We've had Sonia, as has been mentioned tonight, already on the board of Teach First NZ Aku Mata Tupu. Rosa and Emma involved heavily in the alumni policy discussion group. Hannah Betts, she helped organize the first ever alumni retreat earlier this year. We'll look forward to your involvement again, Hannah. And I mean, of course, William Chen, he's an internet sensation. He doesn't need any coaching on how to be a great ambassador for Teach First NZ. So this alumni network is 3 years young. It was only this time 3 years ago that the first cohort graduated on this very date. So we're 3 years young as a network, and in that time, we've had some really, really big things happen. We've got our very first alumni off to work at the Ministry of Education as a graduate policy analyst. We've got an alumnus who is going to be a head of an English department next year. We've got a dean, we've got an assistant head of maths. I mean, really, really big deal things, but it's not just about those huge big achievements. It's also the day-to-day. It's not some grand gesture about what it means to be a successful alumna or alumnus of this program. It's the day in and it's the day out. It's nurturing the VAR between us as people who've been through quite a transformative experience ourselves, let alone the transformations that we hope to have helped lead for our learners as well. So how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. What we are doing in each moment is what adds up to something. And it's about mucking in. It's about knowing, yes, you need to protect your own boundaries and your time and what you can afford to take on, but know that you are it. You need to step up because we are the biggest resource that we have to keep the connections going between us, and even just to keep in touch is the first step. So that's my advice for keeping in touch and being champions for what Teach First NZ stands for, educational equity. But speaking of champions of what Teach First NZ Aku Mata Tupu stands for, we have an honoured person in our front row, Graham Aitken. So Graham has done a fair bit of public speaking recently, and he's actually given himself in the usual Graham humble fashion, a mixed report card on his service and career. But he himself has acknowledged that when leading change in complex human systems, there are bound to be some roadblocks along the way. But we want to thank you, Graham, for your continued service to the education landscape in Aotearoa, for your dedication to evidenced and disciplined research on effective teaching, and for your commitment to resisting binary thinking. Indeed, at the very first Aku Mata Tupu event at the end of 2012, you put it really simply. You said that if kids take well to differentiation, then so too do adults, particularly those who are learning how to teach. And this brand of initial education for teachers is one way that people do learn how to teach, and it works really well for some people. So We want to thank you for being a champion for Teach First NZ, and more importantly, a champion for education in Aotearoa. It's not been an all or nothing kind of credulity with you. It's been a subtle appreciation for different approaches and for supporting many different ways to reach an outcome so that all young people can fulfill their educational potential. So before I hand over to C16, I believe that Rosa and Aidan are going to speak, and then you might get to hear Waiata. I'm honestly feeling a little bad for C16. I don't know how they're going to follow. But until we reach that moment, I have laid down the gauntlet, I realise. But I think C18 can probably just sign themselves up to Te Matatini next year, or Polyfest at least. Yeah, I think you're sounding very slick already, so well done on that. So before we acknowledge Graham formally, I would like to invite Matua Aoi up to speak.
I'll go through this because it's some words taken from my great-grandfather's haka. Goes like this: Papa te whaititiri, hiko hiko te uira, I kanapu ki te rangi, whetu ki rarora, ru ana te whenua e. If I were to translate it, it might go something like this: the lightning flashes across the skies, the thunder reverberates through the heavens, the earth shudders with the force of the earthquake, signaling that something important is about to happen. The important thing that he was signaling to his family and to the hapu of the Rua Taupare in Tokomaru Bay was that he was about to launch a canoe, and he wanted them all to be there. And I think tonight is the launching of your careers into a wonderful choice that you have chosen to come with Teach First NZ. You know, we had a conference here 2 years ago, Teach for All, in Auckland. There were about 33 countries represented, and the theme of that conference was Further Together. And we put that into Māori as Hoia ngātahitia ki koatu. Let us get on this waka and make a difference to those who we serve. Now, I'll just talk about a teacher who had a huge influence on me and on a lot of people on the East Coast. She came to us after the Second World War. Her name was Elsa Corrie Johnstone. She was of Scottish descent. And she taught us all the Scottish songs that she knew. And she taught us German songs and Italian songs, and she had us sailing down the Danube. She had us doing all sorts of things, climbing the mountains in the Black Forest and doing all those things. So we would, Droben in Oberland, it is so wunderful. There's that German song about climbing in the Black Forest. And then we stood in the waters of, the Loch Lomond? By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, when the sun glints out in the gloaming, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. When I got to Loch Lomond, I took off my shoes, I stood in that lake, and I looked across at Ben Lomond at the mountain, and I sang that song in memory of this wonderful teacher that I had had. But she changed the thinking of our parents, because at the time, my older brothers and sisters, there were 14 of us that my mother had in a 2-bedroom house with no running water, no electricity, no nothing. Anyway, Miss Corrie Johnson taught us another song. For there's nae luck about the hoose, there's nae luck at all. There's little pleasure in the hoose, there's nae luck at all. I was singing that as I walked into the kitchen, and my mum said to me, "You tell your Miss Corrie Johnson there's nae luck in this bloody hoose." Anyway, she was a wonderful, wonderful person. She taught us poetry. You know, I still know the words of The Daffodils by William Wordsworth. I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, that one. The Charge of the Light Brigade. Forward the Light Brigade. Cannon to left of them, cannon to right of them, volleyed and thundered. Into the valley of death rode the 600. We thought that was beautiful. We didn't know it was. They were all getting smashed to bits and getting killed. And Lochinvar, you know. Oh, young Lochinvar has come out of the west. We thought it was just beautiful stuff. I loved it. And a thing of beauty is a joy forever. The daffodils, it was just wonderful stuff that she taught us. Now, when I say she changed the thinking, that's what some of you young people, you need to perhaps change the thinking of your community. And she changed the thinking of our community, not only in Te Puia Springs, but on the whole of the East Coast. They all celebrated her on the East Coast because she brought about a new dimension of thinking about the future of their children. You know, my older brothers and sisters had to get up early in the morning. There was no school bus. The nearest high school was 7 miles away at Tokomaru Bay. But the bus, the service car, they had to catch it at 6:30 in the morning. Every day they had to catch it at 6:30 in the morning. Then they'd go to school and stay at an uncle's place until the school opened. And then after school, the bus would pick them up again and get back home at 6 o'clock at night. So what hope in hell did they have of ever achieving anything in education? So she asked our parents to keep their kids at school and for them to sit government scholarships. And throughout the East Coast, a lot of children left to go to boarding schools all around the country because we were lucky enough to win scholarships. So she was the celebration of the East Coast as a school teacher. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. When she had her 90th birthday, she and I kept in touch right through her life. And she had her 90th birthday, and I spoke at her 90th birthday. And she said, "Awi, please, will you come when I die and deliver the eulogy?" I said to her, "My dear, the way you're going, you might come to my funeral." Anyway, she died when she was 97, and I went down to Havelock North to bid this wonderful, wonderful person farewell. I loved rugby. I wanted to be an All Black, like all of us. I was accepted to go to Ardmore Teachers College in 1954. The reason I wanted to go there was because Pat Walsh was in the team. And I thought I would like to play inside Pat Walsh or outside of him. Eddie Whataro was in the team. From that one club team at Ardmore emerged 4 All Blacks in the one team. But John Waititi came to see my mother, wanted me to go back to school, so I missed out going to play rugby and missed out becoming an All Black, but never mind. I loved rugby and I became a coach. And I coached 2 of the top schoolboy rugby teams in New Zealand. It was a wonderful privilege to coach those boys for over 20 years. In the early days, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the All Black coaches had 3 Ps that they built their teams on. The 3 Ps were possession, position, and pace. Possession, position, and pace. When I took my teams, I introduced 2 more Ps to their 3, And I call those two P's passion and preparation. I'd like for you to take those last two into your field of work, passion for your job and preparation. I'll add some more, perseverance and patience. Teaching is a difficult job, but good luck. You've done very well, and I hope you do well with our children to make a difference for their lives in the future. Kia ora tata. Now, I was thinking, because at the end of a kōrero, we have to sing a song or tell a joke or do something. And I was thinking, poor Tonga, in the rugby league. Now, a couple of my friends when I was at school in the 50s were Tongan boys. And they said Isalei actually belongs to them, not to Fiji. And they used to sing it all the time. So I'll try and sing Isalei in Tongan. And it goes something like this. Isa, isa, viola lo se hima, visimoto matangi he lilifa, kangeongo sieta va mamao, kosinona, kosiota feao, Isale peko hai tene lava ngenga ngatu da 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 pakapo peko hai tene lava masuma kosiota feao. Kia ora tātou.